Our dorsal
it.
Lee spent the day making his way to hard-hit Santa Cruz. And, George, we're already seeing some of that damage behind you.
Tom, we're in hard-hit Santa Cruz. Buildings here devastated. This one right here used to be standing. You can see now it is nothing but debris and rubble. Roadways here very treacherous to get in and around different neighborhoods. And there are still parts of this island that are virtually inaccessible.
Tonight, the first look at Melissa's catastrophic trail of destruction through Jamaica.
It was horrible, horrific, terrifying, the worst day of my entire life.
Homes surrounded by water, roofs ripped off, street after street littered with debris.
Food, everything gone, everything gone.
Officials say at least 5 bodies were found today, one an infant. We set out from Kingston this morning to get as close to the town where Melissa made landfall as we could.
This is what some of the highways look like heading into western Jamaica. After Hurricane Melissa, Jamaican police using chainsaws to clear some of the heaviest debris off the highways.
As we got closer to ground zero, it got even worse.
I'm here in the town of Santa Cruz, one of the hardest hit by Hurricane Melissa. Part of the roadway here covered in mud, bringing traffic to a standstill in some parts. Residents taking it upon themselves to help with the cleanup.
Chadley Brown describing how he got to safety.
Water inside. We up here, so you have to swim. Yeah.
You had to swim.
Yeah.
But as we got on the road again, a sudden stop.
This right here, the end of the road, we were trying to make it to Black River, but you can see this power line here, one of many obstructions in the roadway. You can see traffic as far as the eye can see. We can go no further.
The monster Category 5 storm plunged 77% of the island into the dark, making communication with the hardest hit areas difficult, including
Absolutely, hold on.
Black River.
Absolutely crazy, y'all. They said 77% of the island went dark. Absolutely tragic. We got to pray for them. We have to pray for them. But Mother Nature is very scary. It's hard. You cannot underestimate it. You cannot underestimate it. Let's keep going.
This video was taken inside the police station there as Melissa hit. The hallways inundated
The police
with water.
station?
Today, workers pushed ambulances up Black River's blocked and muddy roads. And take a look at the eerie scene inside the Montego Bay Airport. Water pouring through the roof. So many Americans who traveled there for vacation, now stuck.
It's devastating, and I honestly thought I was going to die.
At the Catalonia Hotel, the ceiling is shredded. The restaurant torn apart. David Watkins is stranded with his wife and 2 young sons in Montego Bay.
Right now, we're just in survival mode, trying to find a way out.
Tom just spoke with hotel owner Houston Moncure, who sheltered in a bathtub with his wife and infant son.
That had to be incredibly scary as a new father.
I didn't know what it was going to be like for him. My wife and I just did our best to stay calm.
Meanwhile, in Haiti, Melissa's devastating impact coming into focus. The death toll there now 23. And Hurricane Melissa is still barreling through the Caribbean, making a second landfall in Cuba early this morning as a Category 3, causing dangerous flash floods and reducing homes to rubble. It was hell all night, this man says. It will take a long time to recover.
Tom, the airports in Ocho Rios and Kingston will reopen for commercial flights tomorrow. As for the airport in Montego Bay, well, parts of it were badly damaged, so it's still unclear when commercial flights will take off from there. Tom?
We thank you for watching, and remember,
absolutely crazy. And I do want to pull this up before we go into the next video. If you go to the National Hurricane Center website, it tells you. So, like in the Atlantic, you got see Melissa. So it tells you the path and everything, but it also tells you. So let's go back. Like Eastern Pacific, tropical cyclone activity is not expected during the next 7 days. So it tells you within 7 days. Well, I think I haven't seen where a storm pops up before the 7 days and it's not on the National Hurricane Center. Now tell me if I'm wrong, but please be looking at this website if you're going to these tropical islands, anything like that. But let's get over into these next videos and see what else we can find out.
We're going to get to our other, of course, big and ongoing story from this week, Hurricane Melissa. This morning, we are starting to get a picture of the sheer magnitude of the destruction here after the storm battered the Bahamas overnight. Well, the National Hurricane Center is calling it one of the worst storms to ever hit the Atlantic Basin. Officials say at least 36 people have been killed across the Caribbean. These before and after satellite images, we're showing you them on your screen left and right. It just shows some of the devastating aftermath in Jamaica. United Nations regional coordinator for the island called the damage there unprecedented. He says an early estimate shows nearly 1 million people were impacted. NBC News correspondent George Solis has the latest from Kingston.
Good morning. Those commercial and relief flights set to arrive here at the airport in Kingston. Now, as for Montego Bay, well, portions of that airport were badly damaged, so it's still unclear when commercial flights may take off there. So it brings a lot of uncertainty for those 25,000 American tourists still stranded essentially in that part of the island. Now, yesterday we got a sense of the devastation in some of the hardest hit areas. We began to head southwest where Melissa made landfall, and the roads there were certainly treacherous. At one point, as we were moving, we actually saw police with chainsaws trying to chop up some of the large tree debris that was along the highway there. Many of them telling me that they were just trying to assess the road on a case-by-case basis. Our next stop was a town called Santa Cruz, where a portion of that roadway was just covered in mud, bringing traffic to a standstill. We talked to some residents there who were telling us the water got up to their waist, if not higher, some of them using buckets to clean up some of the muck and debris, anything that wasn't concrete, roof structures, completely blown away by Melissa's wrath. And then as we try to continue further and further to ground zero, essentially, to Black River, we came to a complete stop. There was too many obstructions, too much mud. Officials saying it's really just one of the areas that's going to be the longest to assess because it has just been so devastated by Melissa. Officials saying that they are now working on those plans to restore power, to restore food and water to some of these most devastated areas. And unfortunately, we are learning more about the death toll. Officials telling us by their count, at least 5 so far this morning, and that possibly includes an infant. Officials still working to assess some of those areas that, again, have not been able to be reached by any vehicle to really just start understanding just how bad the damage was. A lot of officials touring much of the devastated areas by the air.
You see the before
and again,
now?
you really get a sense of just that path of destruction as Melissa tore through the island. Some of the flooding here it has sort of started to recede and subside. But again, when you talk about the infrastructure and just putting it all together, it is certainly going to take a long time to get a full comprehensive picture of the scope of the damage here. Back to you.
All right, George, thank you. Well, now let's bring in Yvonne Rodriguez-Wewell. She is the executive advisor for the Caribbean at Direct Relief. That's a humanitarian aid organization. Thank you so much for making the time to talk with me. I know it is a busy week for you and your team as you're working there. Just in this early assessment, as we've been talking about, just this really horrific damage. One UN official said Jamaica has been devastated at a level never seen before. What are you hearing about the extent of the damage across all of the impacted islands, not just Jamaica?
Devastation throughout, unfortunately. Jamaica, Cuba, Haiti, infrastructure damages. In Jamaica, at least 4 hospitals suffered significant damages, which is a reason for serious concerns, as damage to healthcare infrastructure can have long-term impact on post-disaster settings. Experience has taught us that that primary cause of death during these events is not necessarily the impact of the hurricane itself, but what comes in the aftermath due to the lack of continuity to medical services. In Puerto Rico, for example, after Hurricane Maria, more than 4,600 people died because pharmacies were closed, health centers were without power.
Did she say 4,600 people died after Hurricane Maria? Because of the, oh my God, pharmacies were closed and everything like that? Jesus.
Lack of services for people that suffer from chronic conditions, diabetes, hypertension.
Coordinating relief, Yvonne, for one country after a natural disaster, of course, a monumental task. Your team trying to help several different nations, these island nations, they're separated by miles of ocean. I mean, how do you even start to organize a response to this magnitude of a disaster? How do you prioritize?
Yes, one of the biggest challenges right now is logistics, as you're saying, ensuring that essential medical supplies and equipment reach the hardest hit areas as quickly as possible, especially where infrastructure and power remain compromised. Our team is also navigating limited local transport capacity, communication disruptions, and the need to coordinate with multiple partners at the same time to avoid also duplication of aid, right? And make sure aid goes where it needs to go first. So at the moment, Direct Relief has allocated $250,000 to support in emergency operations and logistics. And we have more than $60 million in aid ready to be deployed, ensuring that essential medications, medicines, and supplies reach those that are in need the most.
Well, the storm also knocked out power, right, to hundreds of thousands of people. And then we've got the major roadways flooded or blocked with debris. All of that makes it difficult to reach some of these hardest hit areas. What are some of the biggest challenges that your team is facing trying to get help and supplies to the people who need it?
Yeah, like I said before, the challenges right now are basically the logistics, right? And trying to get these essential medicines and supplies, to the hardest hit areas as quickly as possible. We are in constant communication with the Ministry of Health in Jamaica. Right now, we already shipped 100 medical backpacks filled with first aid items for triage care for emergency responders. And we already sent that shipment with 250 requested medical personal care kits that includes hygiene kits for displaced people. So we're in constant communication with the Ministry of Health in Jamaica. We have been for the past couple of years investing in emergency preparedness projects such as solar power for medical warehouses, generators for health centers, and as we have been told, these generators have been working. So that's a little bit of a good news right there.
For people watching at home, what can they do to help?
So, yeah, Direct Relief is privately funded, so we depend on donations from individuals, private companies to continue our work. People can go to our website, directrelief.org, for more information on that.
All right. Yvonne Rodriguez, we will thank you very much for making time to speak with me this morning and for the work that you're doing there. We appreciate talking to you.
Absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. Now, let's get over into one quick stat. So let's get over into this. Let me zoom in so everybody can see it. So we can all. So as of Friday, October 31st, at least 59 people have died as a result of Hurricane Melissa across the Caribbean. Through a total death toll is expected to rise as search and rescue continues. So we got Haiti, 29 or 30 people have been confirmed. Jamaica, at least 19 people have died. Dominican Republic, 1 death was reported. And then Panama, 4 deaths were attributed to the storm's heavy rain and flooding earlier in the path. Absolutely crazy. So the death toll is at least 59. At least, and it's still expected to rise as more rescue efforts have been going through. Absolutely crazy, everybody. Absolutely crazy. At the end of the day, we got to pray for everybody going through something down there. Everybody. We all have to pray for them. Now, let's get just this last thing a little quick. We're not going to go through the whole thing, but it's just some drone footage of the devastation.
It was worse. It was worse than anything I ever went through in Florida. Every bit of it.
His foot's messed up. All the devastation. People have to come together. They have to come together to help everyone. Wow, look at that.
Jackery has 2 powerful options, the HP 3000 and the HP 3600 Plus, both designed for understandable reacting to 25,000.
According to the site, man, it was supposed. According to the weatherman, it was supposed to turn in the center part of the island. So I figured, well, we're on the west side, it wouldn't be that bad, but it moved. It came west, more and more west, and I thought, oh, we're in trouble. You know, so we probably ended up in the worst part of it. I figure Black River probably got the worst, which is actually where I grew up.
Absolutely crazy, everybody. Absolutely crazy. It's devastation, but you can never underestimate Mother Nature. You can never underestimate Mother Nature. Let me know your thoughts on any of that stuff. How do you feel about the situation? It's a crazy situation, but all we can do is pray for them. If you want to donate, go donate. But the least you can do is pray. Pray for the people going through something. Pray that they can get help. And pray for the world. Pray for the world, everybody. Absolutely crazy. Let me know you had your thoughts on that whole video. Now we got to... All right, everybody. Remember, this is AC Reviews the Word. Remember to like and subscribe.